Alright, I am back at the kitchen again, and this time I am going to make some homemade granola. So let's gather the ingredients and go from there. And I think I'm going to give a friend some as well. And yeah, go from there. Okay, so the first step is to preheat the oven to about 300 Fahrenheit. And that is, how many Celsius is that? I always have to Google all these things. 300 Fahrenheit is about 150 Celsius. So I'm going to start preheating the oven. And then the next step is to line a baking sheet. I like to use the higher rim ones because it stays. So I'm going to get some parchment paper and line it. And the parchment paper also helps with cooking it out and putting it away once it cools as well. So there we go. So we have a little mixing bowl here, and I am going to add 2 cups of rolled oats and 2 cups of nuts. So we'll start with the oats and then I'll get the nuts in a bit. Oats, and we'll see what sort of nuts we have. Alright, so I'm just going to use a mixture of different nuts. We have some sliced almonds, so it's just kind of a total of 2 cups. I'll top it up with some pumpkin seeds, that's 1 cup. And then I have some walnut pieces. And I'll top it up to make a cup as well with the pumpkin seeds. Perfect. And then I'll add a teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, so we got our dry ingredients, and the next step is to gather the wet ingredients. So I have coconut oil, honey, or vanilla. And I guess for the honey, some vegans think it's fine, some don't. But I'm going to be making it for someone who is vegan, but she's fine with honey. So I'm just going to use honey and vanilla. So we'll take about a 1/4 cup of coconut oil. So for some reason, this coconut oil container tends to leak. So I have a paper towel right down there. Alright, and then I'm going to put this in the microwave for about a minute to melt up the coconut oil. So now we've melted the coconut oil, and I'm going to add about a 1/3 cup of honey. Can't really find our 1/3 cup measure, so I'm just going to use the 4th cup that I used for the coconut oil. And try to get rid of all this honey here and add a little bit extra for good measure to make a 1/3 cup. Alright, I give up, so decided to open another one and just use that for drinks later on. So, alright, so I am going to try to get this coconut and honey mixture whisked up and microwave that for another 30 to 60 seconds. 30 seconds should be good enough. It's just so the honey kind of incorporates and get warm with the coconut milk. And then after that, I'm going to add another tablespoon of vanilla, because you can't go wrong with vanilla, can you? So, yeah, it's looking pretty good. The whisk is currently in the dirty dishes, so I'm just using a fork, which works well. Alright, so I'll add about a tablespoon of vanilla and whisk this again and pour it over the dry ingredients, which we've mixed up earlier. So here we have the dry ingredients, and then right here we have the honey, coconut oil, and vanilla mixture. I'm just gonna mix it all in, pour all the remaining coconut oil oil mixture in this mixture and mix it really good and let all the dry ingredients absorb all the wet ingredients as best as you can. It's super easy, really. And like when you go to the grocery store, like decent granola can be so expensive. And then I will just spread it out on this pan in an even layer. So this is how it's looking. So I've spread out the granola on the baking pan on top of a parchment paper, and it's ready to go in the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. So I'm gonna pop it in the oven, and once it cools, I'll package it up and we have breakfast. So it's been about 25 minutes, and while it was in the oven, I had lunch. So right now we're gonna check on our granola to see how it's doing and let it cool. So I have this super old oven mitt that we've had for at least 10 years and it has traveled all over the world with us, and it's kinda gross, but it works and I wash it all the time. So ooh, there we go. That's our granola. It's looking good. I'll let it cool for a little bit. So this is how our granola is looking. I'll let it cool, and then it should stay in some little clusters but not like huge clusters. So time to let it cool, and we'll package it up later. Alright, so this has cooled a little bit, so I'm going to put it in this little container right here. And then you can have some breakfast. I'm just going to crush it up a little bit. And it's kind of the perfect size for granola. There we go, homemade granola.